That time of the week. It is Dallas Cowboys Overtime here on StarTelegram.com. I am a celebratory Fort Worth Star-Telegram columnist, Mac Engel, joined by a very nervous and anxious Mr. Clarence E. Hill Jr., longtime Fort Worth Star-Telegram scribe, and even longer time University of Texas Longhorn lover. We will get into that later. Before we do that, we will delve into the Dallas Cowboys and their upcoming game against the Green Bay Packers. And I want to make sure I give a shout out to the great people at Window Nation for sponsoring this and every other episode this season. Clarence, Dallas Cowboys have a big game this week, or at least we thought it was when the schedule was released several moons ago. But now all of a sudden, the Dallas Cowboys playing in Green Bay and the revenge game for Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy doesn't really feel that big. The Dallas Cowboys coming off the bye are 6-2. The Green Bay Packers are a pathetic 3-6. You've had a chance to talk to Coach McCarthy this week and last week as well. Do you think revenge is on his mind, considering the fact this is the franchise that fired him midway through the 2018 season?
I mean, I think there are a lot of things that are on his mind, just from his family standpoint. Green Bay meant a lot to him. He already got his first head coaching job, where his first won his first Super Bowl. He met his wife there. His kids were born there. His 2 daughters were born there. His wife is from Green Bay, and family has a big business in the community. They have a street named after him by the stadium. He was also fired by this franchise. He got into it with the quarterback, and so there are a lot of things that are going through his mind, he and his family's mind. He got emotional with us on Monday. He was trying to compartmentalize and say it's just another game. I'm going up there with the football team. It's not about me. We did the Roy Firestone. We got you. He started crying, just when we start talking about, start asking questions, and the more questions that came about his memories and what he missed the most and about his family. And, he broke down. So just told you this game means a lot to him for a lot of reasons. It's not just about revenge. Certainly wants to win. His team is on a roll. They're looking good. They need to win this game. He wants to show them what they messed up, what they lost, and he wasn't the problem because it made him out to be the problem. You're not the problem. And we chose Aaron Rodgers over you. You're the problem. We'll get rid of you, and we're going to have Super Bowl glory. Well, they've had some successful seasons, no Super Bowl glory, and the same thing that hurt them under Mike McCarthy is starting to hurt them now. They don't go out and get anybody, get Aaron Rodgers any help. They don't pay for anybody, and this team is awful right now.
No, they're not very good. And, I don't know how much, I don't even remember how much I remember about it when he was fired, because you said he got into it with Aaron Rodgers. The team did what every team does, which is you go with the superstar player. You can find another coach. You can't find, great quarterbacks just don't fall off shelves. But Clarence, from your memory, what was it specifically that they got into? Because McCarthy had no power to go get guys. That wasn't in his wheelhouse. That was more of a management decision. But what was it between him and McCarthy that ultimately led to that breakup? Do you remember?
I mean, yeah, they blamed the offense. I mean, it was McCarthy's offense, and they blamed it. He stopped calling plays for a minute and all these different things. It was about his offense, and they needed a fresh offense and a fresh look, and they needed to go get the guy that was with Sean McVay and all this other stuff. But it was really his offense that proved to be, or they felt, was the problem there. And obviously, they've looked good. He's had some MVP seasons in the light, but maybe it wasn't Mike McCarthy. Maybe there's a bigger issue there. And I've always said, to me, whether it's Mike McCarthy or Aaron Rodgers, whether it was Mike Holmgren and Brett Favre, it boggles my mind that 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks in Green Bay, they only got 1 Super Bowl each. I know it's hard to win a Super Bowl, but I was there. I was at both games when they won the Super Bowl. I remember when after the Cowboys run, when Brett Favre won it, and you thought, well, the Cowboys had this dynasty, and now it's time for the Brett Favre, Reggie White dynasty, and it never happened. They won one. They won one, and then Aaron Rodgers comes along, and this looks like the next great quarterback killer. He's going to, Tom Brady's had his time. Now it's Aaron Rodgers' time to reel off a number of titles because he's that guy. He's 12. They won one and haven't been back.
You hit the nail on the head, though. I think it shows I think it shows just how hard it is. I mean, the Tony Dungy, Peyton Manning relationship got one Super Bowl. They probably should have had a couple. And I think, with Aaron Rodgers, you just have to get close, and then you just kind of have to get lucky because as we've seen it, you've seen it longer than I have, the margin for error here is nothing. I mean, the differences between these teams is 5 plays sometimes. And you might get it. Sometimes you just don't. And I think if you look at Blame and McCarthy, I mean, he's a head coach. You're having a bad season, and the quarterback isn't going to hold himself accountable because they never do. And that's just the way it goes. And at least when listening to Mike McCarthy's press conference, talking to you guys yesterday, the one thing he did say, and I think it does heal a lot, it was 4 years ago. And even though he's going back, do you get the impression this really bothers him anymore? I don't.
Yes, it does. Of course. That's why I cried. I mean, he also said it left a dent in my family.
That's the one. That's the part. Because people were saying things. He can deal with it as a coach, but it's when your wife and kids get involved. That's harder for them.
Yeah, it left a dent in his family. So, yeah, it was 4 years ago, but this is his first time back. It'd be different if he had been back a couple of times. It was 4 years ago. It was his first time back, first time with a team, first time to get to show himself. He talked about having to live in the city for a year after he got fired and working out. He had knee surgery, working out at Packers, fitness or whatever else, and doing all this stuff right there. It was personal. It hurt him. I mean, he's a competitor. All coaches are competitors. He has feelings, human. Yeah, it means something to him. You always want to go back and show what you got. Just like, when you got married, you want to go back and show those ex-girlfriends, see what I got? Look at me now. Look at me now, guys. Look at me now, Green Bay.
There was no ex-girlfriend that I could really look at and shove it in their face. They were probably like, glad he's your problem. Speaking of problems, the Green Bay Packers have a big one and a quarterback that they gave $85 billion to in the offseason and then paid virtually nobody else and let their top receiver go to the Las Vegas Raiders, Devontae Adams. Aaron Rodgers has killed the Dallas Cowboys forever, but you said it best. He is no longer the big bad wolf. He is right now ranked 9th amongst NFL passers, a very human 14 touchdown passes, a very alarming 7 interceptions. The Packers offense ranks 15th in the NFL and 27th in points per game. This is not a good team at all. And the question is, can they get it together? Tampa Bay and Tom Brady don't look very good either. Are we clearly watching the beginning of the end of Aaron Rodgers because he just got old?
Oh, I mean, he's old. Again, Father Time don't lose, okay? It's going to catch up to you. And it's catching up to Aaron Rodgers now and precipitated by the fact that he has no help. They let their best receiver go. He has no playmakers out there. He can't do it by himself. Everybody's saying, well, if you're a franchise quarterback, you can make lesser guys better. Yeah, to a certain extent.
That's it. You hit the nail on the head. Because, Clarence, in fairness to that point, you and I both talked about the guy here in town, number 4, Dak Prescott. Sometimes you do have to, if you're going to be that guy,
you have to elevate.
Make the other guy look better than he is. Great quarterbacks do that. And Aaron Rodgers, but even at the same time, Clarence, when he was going good, he had Jordy Nelson. He had good players, really, really good players that maybe he made look great, and it worked both ways. I don't know. I can't even tell you who his teammates are. That's how bad they are.
Right, and they're injured. So, this is a 3-6 Packers team. Aaron Rodgers is certainly the give the Cowboys PTSD for that throw he made in 2016, 3rd and 30, 3rd and 29 to make some miraculous throw. And I always say it wasn't the throw, it was the play before. Jeff Heath has him dead to rights.
How did he hold on to the ball?
Blindsides him. How does he hold on to the freaking ball? Should have been a sack and fumble.
For sure. That should have been a field goal the other way.
And everybody's talking about Dak Prescott don't play one. Dak Prescott had an amazing game. They were down by double digits, brought him back against Aaron Rodgers and had them right in the game.
Yep.
And tied the game at the end of the game in the 4th quarter at home as a rookie. And Aaron Rodgers pulls a rabbit out of his hat. And so and then you go back to 2014 to catch the one. There was a lot of things that he's done to break the hearts of Cowboy fans, but this is not that team. This is not that Aaron Rodgers. The Cowboys should leave no doubt. I remember going to Green Bay Wade Phillips last year when Green Bay stomped a mud hole in the Cowboys.
Yep.
Well, this should be a mud hole stomping the other way. They should leave no doubt. Like, remember the Titans. Don't let them gain another yard. Leave no doubt. Sick Micah Parsons on them. Let McCarthy unleash a lot of emotion. Just run up the score. Have fun. Show the world that this Cowboy team is for real. They just lost to the Lions, man.
That's not easy. I mean, losing the Lions, as much as I like Dan Campbell, as much as everybody likes Dan Campbell, and I want to see him do well, that's a bad football team. And the fact that Green Bay, with a Hall of Fame quarterback, went out there and couldn't beat Detroit, and he's throwing interceptions to a defensive lineman at the goal line, doesn't say a lot. We're going to come back after this break from the great people at Window Nation.
Window Nation, the star of window replacement and proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys, can help you fill the house this season with savings. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and make no payments and pay no interest until 2025. Fill your house for a customized authentic Dallas Cowboys jersey while supplies last. You could even help fill the Cowboys house and win tickets to a game. Visit windownation.com/Cowboys now for details. Call 866-95-NATION. Window Nation, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Thank you, Window Nation. Here back on Dallas Cowboys Overtime here on StarTelegram.com. Clarence, NFL's trade deadline has come and gone. The Cowboys did nothing other than cut former second-round pick defensive tackle Tristan Hill, who was picked up by the Arizona Cardinals shortly thereafter. They still have a need. Everybody's talked about it. You're getting phone calls. Hey, maybe your car's warranty's expired. Maybe you get a car warranty off.
Actually, my phone is dying. So give me one. My computer's dying.
Oh my God. You're going to leave me? This is the most Clarence thing I've ever seen. So this is giving me the opportunity to say all the bad things I wanted to about Clarence, whom I've known for almost 20 years, because he's off camera. And right now he's totally abandoning me and his responsibilities professionally.
Oh, stop it. Stop the drama. Stop it. Stop it.
Okay. Cowboys still have a need. There's a guy out there who is an unrestricted free agent, can sign with anybody. And Jerry Jones has talked about it. Sure would like to see a star on this guy's helmet. He's wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. Guy comes with some baggage. He's already been on 3 NFL teams, but he did leave one with the Super Bowl ring, even though he suffered a torn ACL in the Rams win over the Cincinnati Bengals back in February. He's just about healthy. He's just about free. Clarence, the Cowboys, should the Cowboys go all in and make a play for Odell Beckham Jr.?
Well, I would say this. Don't talk about it, be about it, okay? The Cowboys are talking about it. They're openly talking about it. Mike McCarthy talked about it yesterday. That they're doing their due diligence, they're doing their homework. They've talked to former coaches. They said they've heard nothing but great things about Odell. He talks about how he's loved Odell's game. You know, there's no downside to bringing Odell in. Jerry Jones on his radio show on Tuesday talked about it. He talked about, you know, how he would look good with a star on his helmet. But we like our guys. But Odell would look good with a star on his helmet. This is about the Cowboys certainly tried to trade for Jerry Jeudy. They tried to trade for Brandon Cooks. Those things that go through last week. Certainly we understand that the receiver core is the weak link of this team, even though they like their guys.
They like their guys. We like our team.
They need help at receiver if they really want to maximize this opportunity. Everybody else, the Eagles are trying to improve their team. The 49ers are doing whatever they can to improve their team. The Cowboys, if they want to improve this team to really try to help ensure that they make a run to the Super Bowl, they need to go get Odell Beckham. The issue is not just bringing him on. Odell wants a multi-year deal. He wants money, and he wants a multi-year deal. This is a renter-player situation for the Cowboys and anybody else. The guy's 30 years old, coming off ACL injury. He's been on 3 teams. I don't know that you're healthy. How can I give you a multi-year deal?
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that.
I mean,
if he wants Cedric Wilson money, maybe. But he don't want Cedric Wilson money.
He wants he's going to want top 10 money. Yeah, he's going to want a top 10 money. And Clarence, given the way this franchise has behaved financially the last, let's go 2 years, there's nothing that indicates to me that they would go all in on a large multi-year deal for this guy, much less. I mean, they will for Micah Parsons, but they're not going to do it for a guy they don't know.
Right.
I would love it. There's a lot of risk there. He's going to be the same guy. He's going to be a pain in the ass.
Right.
All that stuff. but they're not doing it. They're just talking a good game. They're not going to do it.
Right. But don't talk. Stop talking about it. Then. That's my thing. You're getting Cowboy fans, everybody all excited. It's great for our hits and all this stuff, but you're getting Cowboy fans all excited about the possibility of bringing Odell Beckham in. Either do it or don't do it, but quit talking about it. But yeah, I mean, how much to me, Odell should come in, sign a 1-year deal, prove that he's Odell again, go out in March and get you a long-term deal with the Cowboys or somewhere else. You know, he talked about it on a podcast on Sunday. He wants to go someplace he can call home. He wants to buy a house. He's tired of living out of his suitcase. The problem is he wants a multi-year deal. How can he maximize his earnings? If he doesn't want a bargain basement deal, how can you maximize your earnings? How would, in good conscience, can a team give you the money you think you're worth without ever seeing you play, without seeing, that you're healthy again, without you proving that you're still Odell again? It just doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. But somehow, some way, it's not just the Cowboys. He's looking at the Bills. He's looking at the 49ers. He's looking at the Packers. Of course, if the Packers continue to lose, there's no way he's going there. No, he's also looking at the Giants.
I tell you, Clarence, here's a question for you.
And Kansas City.
Okay. All good teams, all teams with the shot to basically replicate what he did last year with the Rams after the Browns dumped him. Here's a question for you. If Jerry Jones is in charge by himself, even though he's the GM and he doesn't have Stephen Jones to sit there and potentially push against him against the wall like he did with Deion Sanders more than 25 years ago, does Jerry make this deal?
Again, the thing that the qualifier is his health. If he's healthy,
Odell's health.
Odell's health. Yeah, not Jerry's health. Sorry.
Okay, so make sure we got this.
I mean, in good conscience, how do you give him max money or the money he wants coming off ACL injury at 30 without showing that you can play, without me seeing that you can play? Because we've seen guys come back. I mean, I love Michael Gallup. He's not been the same guy since he's been back. Okay. Nope. It may be not till next year that he proves he's that guy, but so far he's not been that guy. Okay. And so it takes you a while to get to be that guy. And I don't know how I can, in good conscience, pay you that kind of money. I don't care if it's Jerry or Steven. I just don't think Jerry is just that. When he goes after guys, the known commodities who are ready to go and make an impact right now, not guys that you have to wait on.
It is crazy to me that this was a franchise that went all in on UT's Roy Williams, gave up several.
He was healthy, and everybody was great.
He was healthy, but if you looked at it from a talent perspective, and I know this was a long time ago, it was like 14 years ago.
He was talented.
He wasn't. No one ever said he wasn't talented. The problem was he wasn't the right match for what that team needed. Odell Beckham, if he's right, he gives them something this team doesn't have. They don't.
They need that, and certainly, it's almost like the Rams, in their attitude right now. The Cowboys have a chance to go for it. Do you go for it?
No, they're not going to do it. Okay, speaking of going for it, we're going to deviate a little bit from the Dallas Cowboys, but we're going to stay on football. Big game in Austin this weekend. Huge game in Austin this weekend. Bragging rights, college football playoff possibilities, Big 12 championship game preview maybe. We have number 4 TCU at 9-0 at number 18 Texas 6-3. University of Texas is a 7-point favorite. You have watched more Texas football than any sane man should be punished to. I've got to tell you, I'll be going down. I'm excited to watch it. There isn't a part of me, Clarence, that thinks TCU is going to beat that Texas team on a night game where it really matters in November. I'm sorry. I think it would be great for college football. Texas is going to get them. I'm sure of it.
I think, and I talked about this, we talked about the topics, but this is a chance for TCU to prove themselves. A chance for legitimacy for TCU. For Max Duggan, if he wants to really get into the Heisman conversation, he needs to win this game. For TCU to really be taken seriously as a championship contender, they need to win this game. This is the one in Austin. And it's not like it's 9-0 Texas, it's a 6-3 Texas. It's a Texas that's flawed team, but a talented team, but a team that the nation pays attention to because of the code. That's why all that they pay attention to them. And it's funny, and I might write a column about it. It reminds me of an old story because Texas is not a national championship contender.
No.
You know, they're trying to build and get up and show that they're turning the corner. But a long time ago, Darryl Roy, may God rest his soul, called TCU a cockroach.
Cockroach, right?
Okay, called him a cockroach. Okay, cockroach. You're the cockroach because Texas was in the championship hunt. TCU was bad. I don't think they won any game. Called him a cockroach.
Yeah.
He said it's not what they destroy; it's what they fall into and mess up.
Right.
Okay, because they ain't gonna win nothing. They had no chance to win in nothing, no title, but they can mess up stuff for you. When you got something going and they can mess up something. This year, Texas is the cockroach.
You know, they were in that role several years ago within Big 12 play, and Texas went out and got them. I can't remember the year exactly, but I remember thinking that the roles had been reversed.
Right.
And Texas went out and popped them. I think the concern that all Texas fans have is that, you know, that game against Kansas State on Saturday night, Kansas State's driving. They got a chance to tie it. And I think every Texas fan thought, here it comes again.
No doubt.
They're going to tie it. And to me, the biggest improvement that Texas made in that second half was the fact that the play caller, who's a really good play caller, I think Steve Sarkisian is a good play caller.
In the first half.
But they just gave it to Bijan Robinson. He's got a Lamborghini deal. The guy's the best running back and a top 5 talent in college football. He's going to be a first-round draft pick in the spring. Don't get cute. You don't have to do anything. And if you watch and remember the game last year against TCU, Bijan Robinson killed them. TCU is going to be without 2 of its best linebackers for the game. Brooks is out for the game with an injury. D. Winters is out for the first half because of a targeting call that he was called for in the win Saturday against Texas Tech. I'm sorry, this is not a team that plays well in the first half. They've played great in the second half. They've whipped everybody in the second half. If they get down, I don't see it happening because, one, running the table is really, really hard. They're playing a good team. They're playing on the road. It's a 7-point line. Clarence, I know all the Texas fans are like, I don't know. There isn't an inch of me that thinks TCU's going to
I mean, first of all, you said it. Texas first half team, TCU second half team. TCU has not blinked all year. They have not blinked. They've had adversity, but they blinked, and they get better as the game goes on. They get better in the second half. Max Duggan was awful last Saturday for most of that game. Fourth quarter, 2 touchdown passes. He's Max Duggan again, okay? The running back, people need to pay attention. We talk about Bijan, but that TCU running back, he's going to be first team all Big 12 right next to Bijan. He's a bad boy, okay? And Texas it should be hopeful that Johnson does not play because Johnson, and that makes a whole lot of difference. The receiver, Quentin Johnson, but that offense makes a whole lot of difference. This certainly is a game that TCU can win. This is that game TCU must win. And you said it. No one's, even though TCU is 8-0, over there 9-0, no one's giving them a chance.
No one. 7-point line.
The game day is here because they want to celebrate Texas. I mean, I was kidding with Stephen Johnson. Everybody was. The only reason game day is there is because of TCU. No, game day is there because Kirk Herbstreit, they love Texas. And they want to say Texas is back. And they want Texas to be in the championship game. This is all about ESPN marketing. They want Texas to be back. Okay? So TCU can bottle all that attention, that emotion up, all that disrespect up that no team ever gets to show the world on Saturday night that they're for real. And we haven't even talked about the elephant in the room, Gary Patterson.
Yeah, this is the Gary Patterson. Yeah, and I say I talk to a lot of people who know him, Clarence, and it's still hard for him. He wants to see them do well, but there's going to be some revenge on his mind. Now, he's the assistant to the defensive coordinator, essentially, so his sphere of influence is somewhat limited. But if you kind of like Mike McCarthy, what you're saying about McCarthy, if you don't think that this isn't deeply personal to him and he would like to stick it to certain members of the TCU administration, not the kids, not the coaching staff, but Sonny Dykes and members of that administration, you're crazy. He would like to do that. But I do think there's a tear in him about this because he built this. He's lived this path before, and he knows what this school and schools just like it are up against. Yeah, you're in the Big 12, but you're really not. You're more like Cincinnati was last year. You're undefeated in the Power 5. That's great, but we're going to hold you to a different standard, and that's just the way it is, because until the financial ramifications of this paradigm change, this is the way it's going to be. Okay, we've talked for forever. Real quick, give me a prediction. Who wins on Saturday night?
Texas.
You going with Texas? I'm going with Texas too. I don't think they'll cover, but I think they'll win. Okay, I want to thank the great people at Window Nation for all of your Dallas Cowboys coverage needs. Be sure to check us out on StarTelegram.com, because Clarence is going to be in Green Bay on Sunday, where it's going to be a high of 36 degrees.
Here we go.
See you next week.